Hey, how's it going everybody? ExpatStacker. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the difference between this dollar and this dollar. So, I'm really active in a lot of different silver communities, and I hear a lot and see a lot of times people saying that this fiat is worthless and that this is real money. Now, I definitely agree that this is real money. It says $1 on there. It's denominated in US currency, but we all know it's worth 1 ounce of silver. So it's a lot more than $1. So hedge against inflation, savings, and all that, right? So why do people say that this is worthless? Well, it's just paper. It just has value because we say it has value. It has no intrinsic value. That's what people argue. It's true, it doesn't really have much intrinsic value, but intrinsic value isn't the only type of value. And honestly, silver, if it didn't have so many industrial applications, and perhaps if it wasn't so rare, which is kind of to say if it wasn't what it is, then it wouldn't be valuable. But I mean, my point is, this also has value because we say it has value, right? Like, because it's in all of our electronics and has so many useful applications, and because it can not just be printed. But that doesn't mean that that's the only type of value. And this only has value because we say it has value as well, because it has that intrinsic value. We all agree on that. So, in a way, it's kind of a conundrum. It's interesting to think about. We'll just put it that way. Now, look, if you were walking down the street and you saw $200 laying on the ground, you're telling me that you wouldn't stop and pick it up? Because you could exchange that $200 for at least a few of these, right? Even with the crazy high premiums, you'd still be able to pick up a few of these right here, So you really mean to tell me that you wouldn't stop and pick up $200 laying on the ground? I had an economics professor who once said that it wouldn't be worth it for Bill Gates to, if there was $100 laying on the ground in front of him, it'd be more valuable for him to just continue walking rather than to stop and pick it up, because that's how much money he makes every second. But I have to believe that in real life, Bill Gates would probably also stop and pick up that $200, because you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, as they say. So what is the real value? How do we understand the difference between intrinsic value and, agreed upon value or imagined value, however you want to say that? Well, this is a good way to look at it. You see how it says right here, $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. This is a silver certificate dollar that I got in a trade with another channel. It looks a little funny. I noticed like this side is way thick and this side is thin, but anyway, the point is kind of like what I just said. This could be exchanged back in the day for 1 ounce of silver. So that kind of just shows you that this is very liquid, right? A dollar is very liquid. It can be exchanged for silver, can be exchanged for gold, can be exchanged for food, clothes, water, shelter, things that we need, right? So this is not worthless, right? It doesn't have intrinsic value, and it's not good to save for the long term because of inflation. That's what this is good for. This is good for saving, hedging against inflation, and this is good for the long term. So the way I like to look at this basically is, this is good for tomorrow, maybe next week, perhaps even next month. This is good for next year, for the next 5 years, for the next generation. And basically, that's how I see it. So let me know how you see things in the comments section. That being said, this is ExpatStacker. Much love and respect, and I'll catch you on the flip side.